हेलो, हमारे दर्शकों को माइकल फुलवानी का नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल। तो फिर आज के साथ हमारे साथ हैं मिस्टर डेविड नाकमन, जो भी इमिग्रेशन लॉयर हैं और आपने इनको कई बार इस प्रोग्राम के ऊपर देखा भी होगा। तो आज के इस प्रोग्राम में मैं मिस्टर डेविड से डिस्कस कर रहा था कि भाई हमने हमारे दर्शकों को बहुत सारी चीज़ें बताई है पास्ट के अंदर, फैमिली कैटेगरीज़ के अंदर, एमनेस्टी प्रोग्राम्स के अंदर, बिल्स के लिए, एम्प्लॉयमेंट कैटेगरीज़ के लिए। कुछ आज नई चीज़ें बताना चाहते हैं, नई वैसे है नहीं, लेकिन हमने इन आइटम्स के बारे में कभी ज़्यादा डिस्कशन नहीं किया है। सो आज के इस प्रोग्राम के अंदर हम कुछ नई चीज़ें बताएंगे, हो सकता है उससे आपको या कुछ लोगों को डेफिनेटली हेल्प रहेगी। आई सेड दैट दिस इज समथिंग न्यू दैट वी हैवंट डन इन अ लॉन्ग टाइम, which may help some of our viewers at least. And of course, David Nachman, until he learns Hindi, he will continue to talk in English. So that is okay, David.
Thank you.
Now, in terms of what is new, they're not brand new things. They have been there for a while. But our viewers don't know much about that. One of the things is a WAWA. WAWA is a Violence Against Women's Act. ये women का जो against violence होता है, या बच्चों के लिए वायलेंस होता है, पेरेंट्स के लिए वायलेंस करते हैं उनके लड़के लड़कियां, तो ये कैटेगरीज के अंदर देयर इज अ लॉ वावा अंडर व्हिच दे कैन अप्लाई फॉर इमिग्रेशन बेनिफिट्स. Is that a temporary visa or a permanent visa in WAWA?
Well, that's actually a permanent visa, Michael. It's a green card, and they can self-petition for that green card.
Exactly. So self-petition means आप खुद petition जो सफ़र कर रहा है उसको वायलेंस को, he can or she can file the petition directly. But actually, most of the cases it is women. Most of the WAWA cases are women who are wife of a green card holder or a citizen and then subjected to violence. And it's a very good law, very nice and also humanitarian thing, because this not only gives a temporary stay or something, it gives a green card to the person. If, of course, person has to prove. Now, how does the person prove, David, about WAWA?
There are various methodologies for proving it, but you could, number one, you could have medical records. Number two, you can have an affidavit that the individual puts together that attests to certain facts, of course, of things that happened to them. It's a very self-serving document, but also it's a very helpful document, especially if it's consistent with the medical records. For example, if an individual says, I was involved in some kind of a domestic altercation in which I was sent to the hospital, and then you have a hospital record that keys to the affidavit, that gives the affidavit much more credibility and bolsters the case. You could also have information from friends, relatives who could write affidavits. So there's just, you can also have mental health or psychiatric reports or restraining orders, copies of documents from the police, which
no,
possibly...
it doesn't necessarily, of course, helps if physically abused, but it doesn't have to be necessarily physical violence. For example, the person is keeping her on a jail kind of thing, or not letting her eat food, or not letting her say anything. Let me say something in Hindi. हमारे कल्चर के अंदर भाई ऐसा है, तो शादी हो गई तो बात ख़त्म, बीवी जो है वो कुछ बोल नहीं सकती है, जो भी हस्बैंड चाहेगा वो करेगा. इस टाइप की कल्चर है. कई लेडीज़ हैं, कई वुमेन हैं जो उसको बस ऐसे ही एक्सेप्ट करते हैं कि भगवान है मेरा हस्बैंड, एंड जो भी करेगा वो सही करेगा. लेकिन इसकी भी कोई हद होती है. देयर इज़ अ लिमिट टू दैट. एंड आई थिंक दिस इज़ अ फ्री कंट्री, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, बट आई एम सेइंग इन आवर इंडियन कल्चर, marriage is forever. You never do anything. Whether the husband beats you, whether he gets drunk, whether he does any violence, you are supposed to suffer that and not say a word. I'm just saying that's not necessarily here in the US now. Things have changed. Right. But that has still a lot of women would not want to leave the husband, no matter he's beating, he's drunk, he's, whatever kind of violence he's doing. But I think there is always a limit. There comes a time when that limit, जो कहते हैं पाप का घड़ा भर जाता है, that means the limit reaches where it's no longer possible for the woman, and there's no reason also to go through that suffering for the rest of the life. I mean, there is a way out here, here. So even if the woman is, let us say, illegal here, and she is suffering, and she applies under the WAWA, and if that is granted, doesn't she get a green card?
Yes, ultimately she does, Michael. And I think that it also is important to point out to our viewers that there are a lot of really good not-for-profit organizations that provide support in this area. Our firm works with several of them where we will help give advice through a conduit, through a not-for-profit organization that's a support group for women or people who are being abused so that they understand what their rights are.
I know there were some few instances where a woman will call me and she's very afraid. She's calling from a friend's home or a phone booth because she cannot even make a phone call. And somehow she manages to make a call saying, please don't tell my husband or anybody about this very secret, which we always are. As attorneys, we are not supposed to talk about any client's case to any person. Right. So basically, you're very right. I'm saying this is an opportunity, I shouldn't say opportunity, or way out to get out of that situation where the woman is being subjected to violence. But not just the woman, even the children. Violence against children is the same thing. And I saw this memo here I was looking at before the program. They have now raised the age to 25. It used to be 21 for the children. Interesting thing. Now they have clarified also even the parents of US citizen or green card holder, if they are subjected to violence, can also, मतलब है कि ये father है mother illegal है और उनका जो लड़के लड़कियां जिन्होंने बुला के घर में रखा नौकर की तरह रखते हैं मारपीट करते हैं they make the parents suffer, which is a shame, as you very rightly said earlier in one of the programs, that we feel so bad. I feel very bad when I see a citizen son or a daughter who brings from India, actually brings to tell the parents, I cannot live without you, we love you. And when they come here, they tell them to clean the house, take care of the children suffering, and use them as a substitute for a household worker.
And it's so important, Michael, what you pointed out earlier is that you're not just talking about physical abuse, you're also talking about mental abuse. So extreme mental abuse as well as physical abuse can be the basis for obtaining benefits under these laws.
So this is very good. I would say that you should not hesitate. If you have this kind of problem, you want to make an application under WAWA. Obviously, इसमें थोड़ी रिस्क ये है कि अगर वो एप्लीकेशन डिनाई हो जाती है तो वो जो वाइफ है या बच्चे हैं या पेरेंट हैं उनके खिलाफ डिपोर्टेशन हो सकती है. There's some little risk always involved in making effort to get benefits under WAWA. But I'm saying you go to अच्छे lawyer के पास जाइए और अपना पूरी स्टोरी बताइए तो a good lawyer would be able to make assessment, evaluation. There is a good case. It's not just one time the son just kicked the father in anger may not be enough for the WAWA.
Right.
But there has to be repeated and what actually happens and where the physical beating, mental torture for a long periods of time, and there's no end to that. There comes a time that that person has to do something in life. Right?
That's right.
Now, I'm moving to a little bit to a different subject also, which is the Uvisa. Now, this is violence, and that is the victims of crime.
Right, but they're actually very closely related,
close,
Michael.
exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, oftentimes what you actually find is that an individual who has a U-Visa could take the route of a WAWA case, or what they could do is they could use the U-Visa as a basis for adjustment.
Because remember, U-Visa is a temporary visa.
That's right. The U-Visa is a non-immigrant visa classification.
Visa, but WAWA is a green card.
But the U-Visa allows you to move to a green card,
also, yes.
And you adjust under Section 245M of the INA. After 3 years of U-Visa status, you're allowed to move to a green card. So a good
lawyer, correct me if I'm wrong, David, a good lawyer, after going with the client, all the details and all that, makes a determination what is the right thing to do. Maybe on a temporary basis, do the U first, so that the person is in legal status, and then move on to permanent under U, or maybe a separate applications under WAWA to do that, or just do the WAWA directly. I think it's on a case-by-case basis. We cannot say,
Yeah, I agree, Michael. I think that it really depends. One of the things that is sort of important for the U-Visa classification is that there is a certification that needs to be submitted by a law enforcement agency. and getting that certification sometimes can be extremely difficult. We work with prosecutors, we work with police officers, we work with law enforcement agents to try to see whether or not they're going to be writing the certification. It could be possible in a case where there's a domestic violence dispute, where it may pay not to get a law enforcement agent involved to do the certification. It may just be easier, depending upon the outcome of the altercation, to go the route of a violence against women case.
I have a couple of notes here from the article that we recently had as to what is criminal activity. I mean, what kind of people can apply for a U visa?
Right, this is for the U visa.
U visa
Right.
I'm talking about. It says individual must have suffered substantial physical or mental abuse as a result of being a victim of a qualifying criminal activity. In a minute I'll tell you what is qualifying activity. And the individual must have information concerning the criminal activity. Individual, this is another thing that's important. Individual must have been helpful or is being helpful or likely to helpful in the investigation or prosecution of a crime. For example, if the immigration service has caught somebody who has been doing a lot of fraud and they are following a case against him, and there is a witness or there are one or two people or three people who have knowledge about that, who are willing to help, who come as a witnesses for the government, is a type of people that can also be granted U visa to help the government in prosecuting a case against the people that have committed a crime. So these are all the, now again the question is, what is criminal activity? Here are some of the examples: abductions, abusive sexual contact, blackmail, domestic violence, extortion, false imprisonment, genital female mutilation, the felonious assault, the hostage situation, incest, involuntary servitude, kidnapping, manslaughter, murder, obstruction of justice, peonage, perjury, prostitution, rape, sexual assault, sexual exploitation, slave trader, नौकर की तरह घर में रखने मारना, torture, witness tampering, unlawful criminal restraint, jail बंद करके रखना अपने बीवी को or somebody, or other related crimes. So first of all, I agree with you that in many ways, WAWA and you pretty close.
Yeah, they overlap a little bit.
Or overlap a little bit. Now, question is, how does a person apply for a U visa? Let's say a client comes to you and tells you about the problem that the person is going through this criminal activity. He's a victim of a criminal activity.
Right.
Now, what do you want to see? What do you want to decide? How do you want to make a decision? What is the process?
Well, of course, the first thing we do, Michael, is that we interview the client extensively to try to find out what the facts of the case are. We speak to them and make a determination as to whether or not the crimes that they have been a victim of are in fact within the rubric that you set forth on the memorandum. Sometimes they're not, sometimes it's not clear, so we try to clarify it with the client. The application is done on a form. It's called an I918 form that anyone can see. It's on the web. You can go to www.uscis.gov and you can go to the form section and pull up the form. It's not the form that's difficult, it's the supporting documentation that helps the government be convinced of the fact that the individual is in fact a victim of the crime.
Very quick 30-second question. Supposing a person is illegally in the US, should he worry about applying for a U visa?
Quick answer is they may be concerned if the U visa doesn't get approved, although the people who process them generally are sympathetic. And I would say under the prosecutorial discretion memo, these are not considered to be high priority cases.
But a person can apply, even an illegal alien can apply.
That's correct. The nice thing about the U visa is that if they're out of status, this is a nice way for them to bring themselves back into status in the United States.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, viewers. I hope that you found this program very helpful. And Mr. Nachman, thank you very much for coming on the program. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please contact us as soon as possible, and we'll try to help you the best that we can. Thank you.